Hello everyone, and welcome to another game dev video, and this time, it's not a Dreams devlog. A few months ago, I saw a video by Mashup Games called Making a Game with 50 Features, based on Making 50 Games in One Day by Jonas Tyroller. When I first saw it, I thought, wow, if I had a game dev channel, I would totally try this. And hey, I have a YouTube channel now, so why not give it a try? Now, when it comes to features, I'm going to be super loose with what is and what isn't a feature, and you'll see what I mean by that. So let's get started. I started by opening a new 2D Unity project and making the important folders. I then made a square sprite and put it into the scene. There's our first feature, a player. But we can't move this player now, can we? So let's make our player move. I decided to go with top-down movement because I like top-down games and it's easier to make. The next feature we should add are walls. We can't just let our player go anywhere. There's one problem with these walls. We don't have any collision, so let's add that. Now we need to give the player some sort of objective. So I made a white circle and put it in the middle of the world. The player must protect this circle with their life, but there's nothing to attack the circle. I made an enemy that moves towards the circle. Also, I moved the walls back, but they are not gone. Though right now if the enemy reaches the circle, nothing happens. So let's make it deal damage. But once our enemy dies, that's it. We need an infinite source of enemies. Okay, but now we can't stop the infinite flow of enemies from reaching the objective. Let's give the player a weapon. Now the player can actually do some damage. But if the player moves off the screen, then we just can't see them. So let's add some camera follow. Now it's time for some art. But first, we need a color scheme. I went to coolers.co and chose a 4-color palette. The player also looks kinda garbage, so let's fix that up. Let's also change up the background color a bit, perhaps a nice gray. Let's also give the player an indicator of how many kills they have, and an indicator for how much health the objective has left. Now what? Our objective needs some art. I have no idea what this is though. I think it is some kind of orb. Now to finish off the art, we need to give the enemies and the bullets some art. So now we have all the art done, let's add some particles and trails, just make it look generally nicer. I added particles to the enemies and the bullets, and I think they look much nicer. Wow, we're only on mechanic number 20? I'm really gonna need to put more stuff in this game. How about another enemy? Instead, one that goes after the player perhaps. But this enemy can't spawn, so we need to make it so it can actually spawn. Great! That's done. The next feature is that you can actually lose now. When the player runs out of health, an animation plays. Though, right now, there's no way to know how much health you have. But let's make something happen when the orb breaks first. I made it so that the orb explodes, emitting a bunch of particles everywhere. One thing I want to fix is that if you run into a missile, nothing happens, and you just push it to the side. So I made it deal damage to the player. Something that I've been hinting at is adding a health bar for the player, so I put that in as well. And we're halfway there. That's kinda sad to see because I've already been working on this game for 5 hours now. But I digress. Let's give the rocket an explosion animation. What's another interesting feature to add? Perhaps coins. Okay, so now the player can collect coins, but we need the coins to spawn. But now the coins need art. Well, now the coins need to be able to buy something or else they're just useless. Okay, so we have a store, but no way to open it. So how about we add a button that you can press to open the store? It was here that I had to stop working for the night, but I have been working on the game for about 6 or 7 hours now, so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. It's a new day now, and I should probably make some power-ups. I'm gonna make a machine gun, a shotgun, and a shield power-up. And they all count as different features, but there's still one problem. We can't get them anywhere, so we need to put them into the store. Great, but they actually need to cost something. So let's make them cost various amounts of coins. Okie dokie, but right now these power-ups last forever, so we need a timer on them. Now we should make some art for the power-up so people can see what they're buying. That one looks like a cactus. What else can I do? Oh yeah, you need to be able to pause the game. We still have another 13 features to go. How about we add some post-processing? Much better. What about a main menu? Where will the player go when they start the game? But, as you can see, there are 4 buttons that need their own menus. I started with the options menu and added 3 volume sliders. Though, those volume sliders do nothing without sound, so let's make some sounds. I used JSFXR for sounds and made some shooting, collecting, selecting, and more sounds. I also hooked all of these up to the audio mixers, and we're solid. We added particles and trails earlier, but I didn't add any for the player. So I made some for when the player shoots, and I was gonna make a trail for when the player moves, but it didn't look very good. Next I made a screen to teach the player how to play the game. I also need a screen to show that I made it, and a link to my YouTube channel. Finally, I need a name for the game and a logo. I decided to name it Protect the Orb, which perfectly describes the gameplay. Now we also need to make some music for the game. As usual, I used Mixcraft for music and came up with this nice piece. It might get repetitive after a while, but this game is a short game that you maybe play for a few minutes. Though, we also need to make a game over screen, because right now, when the player or the orb dies, you're just stuck on that screen. So I put together a quick game over screen that allows you to either restart or quit, and also shows your time survived, your kills, and your final coin count. Finally, as the 50th feature, I made an itch.io page for the game. I left a link in the description to where you can go play the game, and I encourage everyone to also try this challenge, even if you don't have a YouTube channel. I spent 2 days making this game, which isn't long at all, but it was still super fun. I always have trouble finishing projects, and doing fun challenges like this make it much easier and also much more fun. Please let me know your thoughts on this kind of video, as it was less technical than my Dreams devlogs, and instead it was just making a quick game with 50 features. Initially I was actually planning on doing 75 features, but 50 features is already hard enough, so I downgraded. But I would love to see some games with 75 or more features, done for a challenge of course. Anyways, thank you for watching, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have a good day.